A record-breaking 26 million votes. That is the number currently haunting the music industry as we move into the second quarter of 2026. For decades, the blueprint for a real superstar was set in stone by icons like Jennifer, but a massive shift is occurring that has left the old guard scrambling for answers. The rise of Roberts hasn't just been a success story, it's been a total disruption of the Hollywood hierarchy. Tonight, we are digging into the whispers of a changing of the guard that started on a television stage, but has since moved into closed-door boardroom meetings and cryptic social media deletions. Is the legendary Jennifer facing an unprecedented career crossroads just as a new king claims the throne? The evidence suggests that what we're seeing isn't just a passing of the torch, but a full-scale takeover that has industry insiders questioning everything they thought they knew about longevity and loyalty in the spotlight. It was the statistical anomaly that stopped the music industry dead in its tracks. A record-breaking 26 million votes for a single artist that has completely the playbook for how a modern superstar is created. As we enter the second quarter of 2026, the meteoric rise of Roberts has forced a complete re-evaluation of the American Idol franchise's power structure. For over 2 decades, the blueprint for success was dictated by traditional label executives and television slots. However, the sheer volume of engagement Roberts commanded in 2025 has moved the needle in a way that is causing significant friction behind the scenes. This wasn't just a win, it was an industrial-scale disruption. Sources close to the production indicate that the traditional winner's path, which typically involves a slow, controlled rollout of music, has been abandoned in of an aggressive, multi-platform expansion. Roberts has essentially bypassed the gatekeepers, moving from a competition contestant to a media mogul in record time by leveraging his massive digital following into a proprietary podcast network. This move is significant because it directly challenges the established hierarchy that has long been guarded by legends like Jennifer. As Roberts' momentum continues to accelerate, the financial and cultural focus of the entire network has pivoted, effectively rerouting marketing resources that were once earmarked for legacy artists. The gap we are seeing between Roberts' viral velocity and the institutional weight of the old guard is the most important story in music right now. We are witnessing the birth of a new media model where the artist acts as their own platform, a shift that is leaving legacy stars who were built on the traditional television model, scrambling to find their place in an increasingly fragmented market. It was intended to be a seamless passing of the baton between an EGOT legend and her successor, but the air in the room turned cold the moment the microphones went live. When Roberts appeared on the set of the Jennifer show, the audience witnessed a collision of 2 very different eras of entertainment. On one side, we have the legendary EGOT winner, who represents the pinnacle of traditional superstardom. On the other, we have the modern disruptor, who has proven he doesn't need the traditional media's blessing to succeed. During the interview segment, observers noted a palpable departure from the usual mentor-student dynamic that typically defines these interactions. Sources close to the production indicate that behind the scenes, the competitive energy was so high that it forced a significant change in the planned script. It was a visual representation of a much larger narrative, the old guard being forced to share the spotlight with a successor they were not prepared to mentor. For who has spent years carving out her place as the queen of daytime television, the presence of an artist who is actively outpacing her metrics in the younger demographic was an uncomfortable reality. This televised encounter served as the catalyst for a digital fallout that has divided the industry, with longtime supporters of clashing with the new army of Roberts' listeners. The friction wasn't just about a duet, it was about the fundamental question of who owns the future of soul music. As the footage continues to circulate, it is being used as a primary case study for media analysts who argue that the mentor title is becoming obsolete in an era where the student is now holding the keys to the kingdom. While the public was focused on the harmonies, the financial records suggest a much more calculated and cold-blooded war is being waged in the corporate boardroom. The most significant evidence of the shock of the gap between these 2 stars is the shift in high-value contract distribution that has occurred over the last several months. Investigative inquiries into recent industry deals suggest that multi-million-dollar partnerships, which were historically reserved for established legacy artists, are now being aggressively redirected toward new wave talent. We are witnessing a professional crowding out of the old guard in of the new. Reports have surfaced that several brand partnerships Jennifer was actively in the early months of 2026 were ultimately awarded to Roberts, citing his superior digital conversion rates and his ability to engage the younger demographic. This is a cold reality of the modern entertainment economy. Longevity is being traded for velocity. As the effect continues to accelerate, the financial pressure on legacy stars is mounting, leading to what many industry observers are calling unforeseen adjustments in their touring and project schedules. We are seeing a trend where even the most untouchable icons are struggling to maintain their financial dominance against a newcomer who operates with a fraction of their overhead. This corporate coup is the driving force behind the friction we see today. It isn't just about talent, it is about who can deliver the most cost-effective impact in a digital-first world. The narrative that is being phased out is no longer just a fan theory. It is an observable outcome of an industry that prioritizes current, real-time data over the historical weight of past achievements. Just when it appeared that the competitive divide between these two artists had become a permanent chasm, a series of high-security meetings in Tennessee has once again altered the course of the industry. In the early weeks of April, investigators observed both Roberts and entering the same Nashville-based recording facility on multiple occasions, each time accompanied by heavy private security. These clandestine gatherings have sparked intense speculation about the true nature of their relationship. Are these two stars locked in a genuine struggle, or are we witnessing the most sophisticated public relations stunt of the decade? The idea of a collaborative project could be a way for the industry to manufacture a unity narrative that saves the reputation of both the legacy artist and the newcomer. However, there is a more complex theory at play. Some legal experts argue that these sessions are not about music at all, but are instead intense negotiations regarding the transfer of brand influence and the management of a transition that could potentially alienate one side of the. For Roberts, a project with a legend of would be the final seal of approval needed to cement his status as a long-term player. For an alliance with the current record breaker could be a vital survival mechanism, a way to stay relevant in a landscape that is clearly moving toward a new model of success. As we await an official announcement, the world of entertainment remains in a state of suspended anticipation, watching to see if this collaboration will bridge the gap or serve as a final, choreographed farewell. We are now at a critical juncture where the legacy of the past is being tested by the velocity of the future, and the results are rewriting the rules of the entire entertainment machine. The story of Roberts and Jennifer is more than a simple celebrity rivalry. It is a reflection of the transition we are all experiencing in the modern digital age. We have reached a point where the concept of a superstar is being redefined. It is no longer about the prestige of the stage, but about the control of the platform. Roberts represents a new archetype, the artist who is his own media mogul, while represents the final peak of the traditional celebrity system. The shock of the gap between them is a symptom of a much larger evolution. It is a reminder that in this industry, the only constant is change, and loyalty is often a secondary concern to the data. Whether they stand together as allies or remain divided by the corporate walls, their dynamic has dictated the narrative of 2026. As we look ahead, we must recognize that the rules of fame have been permanently altered. The spotlight, which once lingered for decades on a single icon, now moves with the pace of a viral trend. In the end, it makes us wonder, who will be the next icon to be tested by this relentless cycle of renewal? For now, the spotlight remains fixed on the competition, and the answer to who holds the true power in Hollywood may not be as clear as we once thought.